All right, this video is for you if you get caught up in all kinds of ICT concepts, and that's what happens to most people, because we're looking at Reaper, fair value gaps, macros, all kinds of weird stuff. But let's just make it really, really simple. That's what I'm about to do with this video. I'm going to give you one of the easiest ICT strategies there's out there. The thing is, everything in ICT is based around this concept, the power of 3. So if you look at how a candle is formed, we always have a candle body and a wick to the downside and a wick to the upside. So if this is like a day and the day opens, we get a wick to the downside and then a wick to the upside. So the power of 3 actually happens in every candle. It happens in the daily candle, the weekly candle, the 15-minute candle, everywhere. So the concept of power of 3 is we get an accumulation phase, a manipulation phase, and then a distribution phase to finish off the candle. Well, if we make this really, really, really simple, a lot of the times, a few times a week, if you watch like multiple pairs, you will start to notice this pattern right here. We get an accumulation phase around Asia session. Then we get a manipulation phase in the London session. And then we get the final distribution leg up in the New York session. And around this, we can frame a really easy, simple strategy. And what you need to look for is, first of all, if you have a bullish bias, you want to look for this pattern. Of course, the other way around if you're bearish. You want to look for a high time frame PD array in the form of maybe lows liquidity or internal liquidity in the form of an imbalance. So we have a high time frame PD array which London traded into. And then we start to displace higher and finally make the real distribution of the day and finish off this total day. So we have an accumulation phase, a manipulation phase, and then the distribution up. So how can we apply some rules around this? Well, if we are looking for a trade, I really advise you to start looking for this. You can trade it on the Forex or the indices, and you go to the 15-minute time frame. This will clear out a lot of the noise. If you're not yet used to trading on the 1 minute, or you get like messed up all the time with your bites and your direction, I really recommend going to the M15 time frame for your entries. Then we're going to wait for the New York kill zone. So if you see this happen around London, then we're going to wait until the New York kill zone if we see this pattern form. The New York kill zone you can enter between like the 8 a.m. and the 11 a.m. on this. Well, I said that in Dutch. That was weird. The 8 a.m. and the 11 a.m. So sometimes you see it like this. Price comes down and you can enter here and it's around 8 a.m. Sometimes it's more like this, where the low is made in New York and you need to wait until around 11 a.m. before you can enter. It doesn't matter. One way or the other, it can both work. The biggest thing is you want to look for the market structure shift on the 15 minutes. So if we look at this and we made a low over here, we make a market structure shift over here, clearing this high with displacement up. What then happens is that this becomes, our final up closing candle becomes a breaker block. And if in here, this displacement also has a fair value gap, right in here, a bullish fair value gap, then it's even a unicorn entry according to ICT. So we have a breaker block over here with a fair value gap caused by the displacement over here. And then we can enter off the breaker block over here. And we put our entry here on top of the breaker. A lot of the times I place my stop below the low of this total up move. And then we can start looking for take profit points. I will explain 3 ways to take profit in a minute when I show you some live examples, because we had 2 of these setups this week on NASDAQ. So let me show you what this looks like in real-time data. And one of those trades we also took with the community. Let me see if I can find a trade over here. Probably do. Yeah, this was the trade. Look at this. I was looking for a NASDAQ long. This was on Tuesday, and I will show the trade in a second. And I was looking at this over here. So we had a London move down. We started trading higher, and then I said I want to take this trade over here. So let me show you the live example, because finally this was the trade and we took a full TP. So if we go to the chart, let me give you the example on Tuesday. This one, if you want to look it up in your own chart, Tuesday and January 9th of January. And we had this move. Let me put on some kill zones and the indicator. So what you see over here is that we made a move lower during London. So this was Asia. This is our London kill zone. And right now the kill zone of New York has started. So if we mark out the 8 a.m., let's make a vertical here until around 11. Like that. What we see is that on a higher time frame, we reached a PD array. Also, bias is bullish. We have lots of bullish price action. And we hit a PD array in the form of this fair value gap over here on the H4 time frame, which was an inverted fair value gap right now. So once this was a bearish fair value gap, but it got violated, making this an inverted one. So it had hit a higher time frame PD array also in this imbalance over here, but I was watching this specific level. And I waited. I'm not gonna like FOMO long into here, because you never know. We have a lot of imbalances below. So never FOMO long, always wait for the confirmation. So if I go to the 15-minute time frame, what you see over here is that we had the move in London down, eventually even in New York, made a low over here. And then I waited it out. On this move, this was when I started calling the long, because we had made a market structure shift over here. And probably also in here, maybe a 1-minute breaker or something like that. But if you want to keep it easy and clean, just stick to the rules and make it really simple for yourself. So we had this market structure shift, and I said, all right, this right now is a breaker block. This up closing candle is a breaker block. And we have a fair value gap that's been created. So if I mark it out, we have a fair value gap over here. So it displaced higher, made a market structure shift, creating a breaker block, and then we had the fair value gap created with that displacement. So my limit was over here on the breaker, but you could have even entered on the fair value gap. But if I take the exact trade I called in the community, I took it like this: the low of the total breaker block, the total up move, final up move, stop loss below that. And then how can we look for a TP point? Well, the most obvious TP, of course, is here. So an old high in this case. I have 3 ways to determine where you can TP. I did this, and I took a 2R trade on this, like that. But there's another way, which I like to use. And let me remove these lines to make it a little bit more clear. I also like to use the standard deviations. And how you measure that is by measuring the manipulation move. This was the final manipulation leg. So from the low to the high, I have standard deviations. Just 1, -1, -2, 3, 4, like that. 2 standard deviation is also a standard take profit point. So then you would have taken a 3R trade. This is a second way to manage your TP. So let's see, we got hit here in the fair value gap. And I got out here in the community, but then price also went for, look at this, look at that reaction on a 2 standard deviation. And then there's a third way to do it. You can also do it by taking a fib from the low, but not to the manipulation leg, but to the high of the total, like swing high low, and then use an OTE projection. So if you know ICT, you know we have OTE. So this is the equilibrium. OTE is 62,705.79. But we right now don't use that as an entry, but we use the projection targets being minus 0.27 and minus 0.62. So from the low to the high, if I project that, and let me do it like this, so we get the same high, look at that. 0.27 exactly hit. This is the extended target. So let's see if it would have made that. I have no idea actually. This is almost the next day, but if you wanted to hold, all right, look at that. Tapped exactly the 6.2. Let's see if it reacts. Yes, you can see it react. So you can see it react on the 2.7, on the 6.2. So you've also could have extended the target, but that's not the most secure option, to a 1 to 4 trade. So I took the highs, 1 to 2 trade. You could have taken the 2 standard deviation or this level, the projection with the Fibonacci, or even the extended one for a 4R. So the next day, exactly the same thing happened, but this one was a bit difficult to see. So let's look at this. We had Asia, then a manipulated lower and higher. So we have a small AMD over here, AMD. But then we got the same thing in London, started trading lower after London, in New York, and then we got into this PD array, an old low, a low of the London session. And as you can see over here, it started displacing higher, creating a market structure shift over here. Same thing all over again, with this being the breaker block, the final up closing candle. This was the breaker. Also with a fair value gap in it. There's your unicorn entry, fair value gap over here. So if you would have entered the breaker like that, top of the breaker, place a stop below the low of the final up leg. And if we would have measured, let me see, this TP was a little bit close, so that wouldn't have given a good R. Let's see if we can get the standard deviations out. All right, so this is the 2 standard deviation. Or if I do the fib to that high, but I'm going to the right, so from low to high swing, but I'm pulling it out here. Do the projection. This would have given a 2R trade. This would have given a 1R trade. So let's put it on the 2 standard deviation. Let's see what happens. Next day almost. Does it hit it? Yes, it does. All right, there it is. So you could have held it to the next day. That doesn't matter. If your bias is correct, you're bullish, then this should always work, and it actually should always come to 2 standard deviation. So this is the easiest strategy you can look for, but you need to remember it needs to be this clear. You cannot just like randomly take every market structure shift on the 15-minute and just think that you see the setup. Just watch multiple pairs and you will see this unfold almost every week, at least once on every pair. I really invite you to dive into your charts and start looking for this setup, because this model alone can make you profitable. But if you're still looking to become a better trader, see how you can make up your bias in the right way, how to look for the right liquidity points, how you can manage to find the confluences between the PD arrays, I invite you to join the community, because I really wanted to make a community where it's not based around how much cars you have and stuff like that, but really with nice people that do everything from a soul-aligned place, and I think that's really important. So I made a community when people asked me to do so, when they started asking me to teach them. So I made a community and an ICT simplified course. So if you join the Discord and the course, this is what you get. I will give you my weekly outlooks, so a video with my view on the charts for EU, GU, NASDAQ, and gold, and the dollar. Most of the times, those are the pairs. I will do 1 or 2 live streams a week for questions, but also live trading. I give you at least 1 to 3 setups a week, which you can look for, but most of the times it's a bit more. Of course, a lot of proven trade strategies, so you can implement them on your own, but also look for a strategy that matches your lifestyle, because I think that's really important. There's not one way to become a profitable trader. There are multiple ways. I will also give you some mind vitamins, because I believe how you show up at the charts doesn't matter how good or bad your trading results get. I'm a coach of entrepreneurs. I've been that for years. I'm currently also coaching traders. And the biggest thing is how you live your life every day. Every habit, every trauma, every trigger you still have will be visible in your trading results. And I believe that if you manage to break through that, through all kinds of journaling exercises, visualizations, meditation, stuff like that, that you can really enhance and become a better version of who you already are right now. So we have a community of high vibe people. This is not a community for alphas, where everybody wants to show off with their cars, but for relaxed, serious traders who want to become sovereign in trading. It's also not a signals group. I believe signals don't work in the way you like them to work. And believe me, I've been there, I've done that multiple times, but it doesn't work. You need to do the work yourself so you can become a profitable trader. And of course, I have the ICT Simplified course, and the course contents are this. We do a basics module around time price, power of 3, session skill zone. I have a complete module about all kinds of PD arrays that I can look for confluences. Then a plan and trade management. How do you do that? How do you manage risk? Then some strategies. Some of them are really mechanical, and some of them need for you to become a little bit more of a better trader and see things, but a lot of great mechanical strategies also. Then I have an advanced section about standard deviations, the CBDR range for people who want to go deeper. And I have a complete module about some mindset and heart set stuff. So yeah, I do think that this is a really complete course, but also the simplified version, so you don't get all messed up in everything ICT provides. You can also watch all the reviews out here. The reviews have been great. I don't pay people to do this. I would never do that. So these reviews are people that just wanted to give a review. So read them. You can go to wap.com/5duniverse stripe or something like that. I don't know what's it called in English, trading. And then you can join for only $55 a month. Once we manage to get to 100 members, price will go up, and I will never let more than 200 members join, because I want this community to stay small. I want you to be seen and heard, so you can ask your questions and I can mentor you. So this is a community with super relaxed people, no ego, really looking to make themselves become a sovereign human, also through trading, because all the people in here understand that trading is just a vehicle. It's a skill set, a vehicle, but only to live your life's purpose more. It's not about only the money. It's about what the money can provide for. And if you don't have goals that really fire you up, only chasing money will only make you miserable, because money can only accelerate what's already there. It works like an amplifier. And if you are only chasing money and you feel empty inside, you will only feel more empty inside when you have more money. But when you have a really vibrant life and you know what you're doing it for, and you know what your desires are, and you want to be of service for this world in anywhere you like, if it's maybe your family, or maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to give to charity, whatever fires you up. But I think it's really important that the people in the community actually live by those rules and want to become more sovereign, want to trade to then get a better life in whichever way they want. So yeah, I would love if you would like to join. I'll be happy to help you and teach you the stuff. It's not for the total beginner. You need to have a little bit of knowledge around ICT. That helps, but eventually you can just go through the course and you will get it. It will finally click. And I think what really helps is if you get my weekly outlooks and the live streams, because you start to see how I look at the charts, where I base my bias on. And because I tell what I'm looking for and tell what I see, it really helps you filter out a lot of the noise. So yeah, if you'd like to join, I'll see you on the backstage end of this community. So bye-bye, see you in the next video, and please let me know what you got out of it. And if you want, you can, tell me, would you like me to make a PDF on this strategy? Then I will work it out and make a PDF. So let me know in the comments, and then I'll probably do it somewhere next week, and I will send you it. So bye-bye, see you in the next one.